Does the thought of money make you feel heavy? That constant anxiety about bills, that pressure to earn more, that feeling that no matter what you do, you're always just getting by. What if your path to financial freedom wasn't about making more, but about needing less? This is the Japanese minimalist secret. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-rich, slowly, get peacefully, get free forever philosophy. I spent a decade studying these principles, and today I'm giving you the 10 habits that can cut a decade off your working life. This isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. Let's begin. Habit 1. Kakeibo, the art of mindful budgeting. The first and most critical habit is called Kakeibo. You might think budgeting is just tracking what you spend, but Kakeibo is different. It's a question-based system that forces you to confront the purpose behind every single yen, every single dollar. Before any purchase, you ask 4 simple questions. Why do I need this? Can I truly afford it? How will it improve my life? And most importantly, how do I feel about buying it? This isn't math. It's mindfulness with your money. It stops impulse buying at its source because you're no longer just spending. You're making a conscious choice. Most budgets fail because they feel restrictive. Kakeibo succeeds because it feels empowering. It shifts your identity from a consumer to a curator of your own life. You start to see money not as something to be spent, but as potential energy for the future you want to build. The financial result is immediate. You will find hundreds of dollars each month you didn't realize were silently leaving your account for things that they brought no real value, no lasting joy. That saved money becomes your freedom fund, the capital that starts working for you instead of you constantly working for it. Habit 2. Danshari, decluttering your financial life. Now that you're consciously directing your money with Kakeibo, the next step is to apply the same intentionality to what you already own. This is where Danshari comes in. You've likely heard of it as a decluttering method for your home, but its financial power is vastly underestimated. Danshari is a compound word. Dan means to refuse, sha means to dispose, and ri means to separate. But the true essence is about creating space, not just physical space, but mental and financial space. When you look at your possessions, you're not just looking at objects, you're looking at stored capital. Every item represents money that was spent and is now sitting dormant. A closet full of unworn clothes is a portfolio of poor investments. A garage full of unused tools is a savings account with 0 interest. Danshari asks you to see your belongings through this financial lens. What if you could liquidate that dormant capital and put it to work for your future? The process is simple but profound. You go through each category of your life: clothing, books, kitchenware, electronics, and you ask a different set of questions. Does this item serve a current purpose? Does it bring me genuine joy or utility? And if I sold it today, could that money be better used to accelerate my freedom? This isn't about becoming a minimalist for the sake of an empty shelf. It's about auditing your life for financial inefficiency. The moment you start this process, you achieve 2 powerful financial wins simultaneously. First, you generate an immediate cash injection from selling what you no longer need. This isn't pocket change. For many people, this can be thousands of dollars that can be directed straight into investments or debt repayment. Second, and more importantly, you drastically reduce your future cost of living. A smaller, curated wardrobe means less spending on new clothes. A simplified kitchen means less impulse buying of single-use gadgets. You are actively designing a life that is cheaper to maintain. This is the core of early retirement math. It's not just about how much you save, but how little you need to live well. Danshari is the practice of systematically lowering that need number, creating a smaller financial target for your freedom fund to hit. It makes the goal of retiring early not just possible, but inevitable. Habit 3. Mottainai, eliminating financial waste. Once you've decluttered your physical space and unlocked that dormant capital, the next habit addresses the constant silent leakage of resources. This is the principle of Mottainai. It's a word that carries a deep sense of regret over waste, a feeling that something valuable is being disrespected. Most people interpret this as not wasting food or electricity, and that's part of it. But the financial application of Mottainai is what separates those who accumulate wealth from those who just manage their income. Mottainai is about seeing waste not just in a thrown-away apple, but in a subscription you forgot to cancel, an insurance policy you're overpaying for, or the interest on a credit card balance you could have paid off. It's the regret you should feel when you see money, your life energy, being spent with no return, no value, no purpose. This habit requires a forensic examination of your financial outflows. You must look at every single recurring expense and ask, what am I getting in return for this money? Is the value equal to the cost? So many of us pay for gym memberships we don't use, streaming services we barely watch, and phone plans with data we never consume. This is Mottainai in its purest form, a disrespect of your own resources. The practice is to conduct a quarterly Mottainai audit. Sit down with your bank and credit card statements from the last 3 months. Go through every single transaction, especially the automated ones, and challenge its existence. If you find a waste, you don't just cancel it. You immediately redirect that saved amount into your investment account. This turns an act of reduction into an act of creation. You are transforming waste into wealth. But Mottainai goes deeper than subscriptions. It applies to the things you own. Do you maintain your car properly to extend its life? Do you care for your clothes so they last for years instead of seasons? This is proactive Mottainai, preventing waste before it happens by maximizing the utility and lifespan of every asset you possess. When you live with Mottainai, you stop seeing money as a fluid that flows out and instead see it as a resource to be stewarded. Every dollar saved from waste is a dollar that compounds for your future. This mindset shift, from consumer to custodian, is perhaps the most powerful financial habit you can develop. It ensures that your energy is focused on building rather than on constantly replenishing what is lost. Habit 4, Ikigai, finding purpose in your work and spending. Now, you've built a foundation of mindful budgeting, decluttered your financial life, and eliminated waste. But what directs all this newfound efficiency? This is where we move from the mechanics of money to its meaning, with the concept of Ikigai. You may have heard of Ikigai as the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. But in a financial context, Ikigai is your ultimate compass. It answers the most important question: what are you actually saving for? Without a clear purpose, financial minimalism can feel like deprivation. With Ikigai, every dollar saved or spent becomes a vote for the life you truly want to live. This habit transforms your relationship with work. Instead of seeing your job merely as a source of income to fund your consumption, you begin to see it as a tool to fund your Ikigai. This subtle shift is profound. It reduces the frustration of a difficult job because you're no longer working for a bigger car or a more impressive wardrobe. You're working for your freedom, for the time to pursue your passions, for the security to help your community. Your career becomes a means to an end that you have consciously chosen. This clarity also revolutionizes your spending. When you know your Ikigai, your financial decisions become effortless. An invitation for an expensive night out loses its appeal if it doesn't align with your deeper purpose. Conversely, spending on a course that enhances your skills or a trip that broadens your perspective feels like a wise investment, not an expense. You stop keeping up with the Joneses because you're on a completely different path, one that is uniquely yours. The financial impact is that you naturally gravitate towards a higher savings rate. Your money flows towards investments that build your future and experiences that enrich your life, not towards status symbols that empty your accounts. Ikigai is the anchor that makes financial discipline feel like freedom. Habit 5, Wabi-Sabi, embracing imperfection and reducing consumerism. If Ikigai gives your money direction, Wabi-Sabi gives it peace. In a world obsessed with the new, the shiny, and the perfect, Wabi-Sabi is the antidote. It's the Japanese aesthetic of finding beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. Think of the cracked ceramic bowl repaired with gold, honoring its history rather than discarding it. Financially, Wabi-Sabi is the habit that inoculates you against the engine of consumerism, the feeling that what you have is never quite good enough. It directly attacks the need for constant upgrades. Your phone has a small scratch? Wabi-Sabi teaches you to see the character in that mark, the stories it holds. Your car is 5 years old but runs perfectly? Wabi-Sabi allows you to appreciate its reliability instead of coveting the newest model. This mindset is a superpower for wealth building because it dismantles the cycle of perceived obsolescence. You are no longer a target for marketing that tells you your happiness is one purchase away. Instead, you find deep satisfaction in the objects you already own. You care for them, you repair them, and you value them for their function and their history. This extends to your living space. A Wabi-Sabi home isn't about having the most modern furniture. It's about creating an atmosphere of tranquility with what you have, embracing natural materials, and a sense of weathered comfort. This dramatically reduces the pressure to constantly renovate or redecorate. The financial savings are enormous. By embracing Wabi-Sabi, you eliminate one of the largest categories of discretionary spending, the endless pursuit of perfection. The money that would have gone into a new car payment every few years now compounds in your investment account. The stress of comparing your possessions to others evaporates. You achieve a state of financial and emotional contentment, understanding that true wealth isn't about having everything new, but about deeply appreciating what you already have. This contentment is the final piece that makes early retirement sustainable, because you've already learned to live richly without being rich. Habit 6. Kaizen. Continuous small improvements in wealth building. After Wabi-Sabi quiets the desire for new things, we turn to the engine of progress, Kaizen. This is the principle of continuous incremental improvement. In a financial context, it means rejecting the idea that you need a massive salary or a single brilliant investment to succeed. Instead, wealth is built through the relentless optimization of small daily habits. Kaizen asks you to focus on the process, not the outcome. You don't set a goal to save $1 million. You set a system to save 1% more this month than you did last month. You automate that transfer, you forget about it, and you trust the compound effect. This habit is about making your financial growth as consistent and inevitable as the passing of time. Each month, you conduct a small review. Where can you find an extra $20? Can you negotiate one bill? Can you plan one more meal at home? These tiny gains feel insignificant alone, but they are everything. They are the individual threads that, woven together, create an unbreakable financial fabric. Kaizen turns wealth building from a daunting summit into a gentle slope. You climb one deliberate step at a time. It removes the pressure and replaces it with a calm, confident momentum. You are no longer waiting for a windfall. You are creating one, dollar by dollar, day by day. Habit 7. Shokunin. Investing in quality over quantity. The momentum from Kaizen leads us to a critical refinement of how we deploy our capital, the spirit of Shokunin. A Shokunin is a craftsperson who embodies a social obligation to pursue perfection in their work, not for praise or profit, but for the integrity of the craft itself. When applied to your finances, Shokunin means investing in quality over quantity in every single decision. This is the final break from a consumer mindset. It's not about buying less cheap stuff, it's about buying better stuff, less often. A Shokunin approach to clothing means owning one impeccably tailored coat that will last 15 years instead of 5 fast fashion jackets that will be discarded in a season. The math is undeniable. The cost per wear of the quality item plummets while your satisfaction soars. This principle applies to every purchase, from kitchen knives to furniture to the very tools you use to earn your income. You begin to see yourself as a craftsman crafting your life, and you choose tools worthy of that purpose. But Shokunin's deepest financial wisdom applies to your investments themselves. It urges you to be a craftsman of your portfolio. This means choosing simplicity and quality over complexity and speculation. It means investing in low-cost, broad market index funds, the timeless, well-crafted tools of wealth building, instead of chasing the latest trendy stock or crypto asset. You are not a gambler. You are a builder. You select durable investments with a proven history, and you hold them with the care of an artisan. This discipline prevents the costly mistakes that derail so many: panic selling, impulsive buying, and paying exorbitant fees for active management. By embracing Shokunin, you ensure that every dollar you save through your minimalist habits is invested with the same intention and respect, building a portfolio that is as elegant, simple, and enduring as the life you are designing. Habit 8. Seiri Seitan. Organizing your financial systems. With the foundational mindset habits in place, quality, continuous improvement, and purposeful spending, we now turn to the practical mechanics that make this entire system effortless. This is where we apply the principles of Seiri and Seitan, two pillars of the famous 5S methodology for organization. In a workshop, Seiri means to sort, to separate necessary tools from unnecessary clutter. Satan means to set in order, to arrange everything so it has a clear, designated place. Your financial life is your most important workshop, and these principles are the key to removing friction and creating clarity. Seiri, the act of sorting, requires you to conduct a ruthless audit of your financial tools and accounts. How many bank accounts do you have? How many credit cards? How many investment apps? Financial clutter creates mental clutter, and mental clutter leads to costly mistakes and missed opportunities. The practice is to consolidate. Choose one primary checking account, one savings account for your emergency fund, and one brokerage account for your investments. Cancel the rest. For credit cards, choose one or two that offer the best rewards for your actual spending habits and cut up the others. This act of seiri is liberating. It reduces the number of statements to review, the passwords to remember, and the chances for a forgotten subscription to bleed you dry. You are creating a clean, simplified financial landscape. Then comes Seitan, setting in order. This is about creating a foolproof system so that your money flows automatically to its correct destination. Automate everything. Set up automatic transfers the day after you get paid. A specific amount goes straight to your investment account. This is your freedom fund, and it is non-negotiable. Another amount goes to your savings account for larger planned purchases. What remains in your checking account is what you have to live on. This system eliminates the need for willpower. Your savings and investments happen before you even have a chance to spend the money. It's like building a levee against the river of impulse spending. Your financial tools are no longer scattered and confusing. They are organized into a precise, efficient machine that works silently in the background, building your future while you focus on living your life. This organized clarity is what prevents financial anxiety from ever taking root again. Habit 9. Shinrin Yoku, reducing stress-induced spending. A perfectly organized financial system can still be sabotaged by a stressed and cluttered mind. This is why the 9th habit is perhaps the most unexpected yet powerful on this list: Shinrin Yoku, or forest bathing. We often think of financial health as separate from mental and physical health, but they are inextricably linked. Stress is one of the biggest drivers of poor financial decisions. When you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unfulfilled, the easiest short-term solution is often retail therapy. That quick hit of dopamine from an online purchase temporarily numbs the discomfort, but it leaves a lasting wound on your finances and your spirit. Shinrin Yoku is the practice of immersing yourself in nature to reduce stress and restore mental clarity. It's not about exercise, it's about absorption. A slow, mindful walk in a park, sitting by a river, or simply tending to a plant on your balcony. The financial power of this habit is profound. By regularly practicing Shinrin Yoku, you are proactively managing your stress levels. You are giving your mind a space to decompress and reset without spending a single dollar. You are building an internal reservoir of peace that is not dependent on external possessions. When the urge to spend emotionally arises, you now have an alternative. Instead of reaching for your phone to browse shopping sites, you can put on your shoes and go for a 20-minute walk. The craving will often pass, and you will have saved money while improving your health. This habit redefines self-care. Our culture sells us the idea that self-care is a luxury product, an expensive spa day, a shopping spree, a fancy meal. But true self-care, the kind that supports financial freedom, is often free. It is the care of your own nervous system. By making Shinrin Yoku a non-negotiable part of your routine, you break the connection between emotional distress and financial leakage. You learn to soothe yourself with presence instead of products. This creates a virtuous cycle. Less stress leads to less impulsive spending, which leads to greater financial security, which in turn leads to even less stress. You are not just managing your money. You are cultivating the inner peace that makes wise financial management the natural default state of your being. Habit 10. Omoyari, mindful consumption for future self. The final habit brings all the others together through the principle of omoyari, which means having consideration for others. But the most profound application of this is having consideration for your future self. Every financial decision you make today is a direct message to the person you will be in 10, 20, or 30 years. Are you making choices that show you care about their well-being, their freedom, their peace? Omoyari transforms spending from a selfish act into a social and personal responsibility. When you choose not to buy a disposable item, you are showing omoyari for the environment, When you choose to invest that money instead, you are showing profound omoyari for your future self, gifting them security and options. This habit is about widening your circle of compassion to include the person you are becoming. It's the ultimate motivation that makes all the other habits stick. You're not just saving money, you are actively building a better world and a better future, one intentional choice at a time. This mindset ensures your wealth has a purpose far beyond yourself, making the journey meaningful and the destination even richer. These 10 habits are not a checklist. They are a single, interconnected philosophy. They are about shifting your identity from someone who reacts to the world of consumerism to someone who intentionally designs a life of purpose and freedom. The goal was never just to be rich. The goal was to be free, to wake up without financial anxiety, to know your time is your own, and to understand that true wealth is measured in peace, not possessions. This is the minimalist path to retiring a decade early. It starts not with your portfolio, but with your perspective. Choose one habit to focus on this week. Let it be your first step toward a lighter, richer, more intentional life. Your future self is already thanking you,